We didn't. I know. You like it's time to go. Hey, everybody! Welcome to this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show, and we're getting ready to kick things off. We are live already, and happy to have everyone here with us today. Dr. Paulette Harper, Earl Morrison, and Lauren Richardson. So let's kick this intro off as you grab your virtual seats, and we are in for a tremendous treat.
Hello, everyone. I'm very grateful that you took the time to tune in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. Listen.
Mackenzie, I'm going to do it backstage, okay? I got it. Thank you, sweetie. All right, I'll play it right
Hello,
there.
everyone. I'm very grateful that you took the time. Hello, everyone. I'm very grateful that you took the time to tune in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. Listen, we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real relevant and relatable content on today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show.
Yes, it's the Kim Jacobs Show again and again and again. And I am excited. I think both Mackenzie and I, who's helping me backstage, we're equally excited about our guests that we have on today, Dr. Paulette Harper, Earl Morrison, and Lauren Richardson. Glad to have you all here with us today. How are you all?
Well, good morning. Blessed.
Doing wonderful, Kim. Doing wonderful.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
How about you back there, Earl?
I'm blessed to be here. I appreciate you having us on.
Well, I'm blessed to have you all. And so everyone, as you grab your virtual seats, we're going to be talking with some Christian believers that believe that, guess what? You can mix faith and business together and have a beautiful outcome in your life. And so they are going to be talking from the perspective of a faith business summit that's happening, Faith Business Success Summit. It's a 3-day virtual event. So that means that you all will be able to participate no matter where you are in the country. And you'll be able to participate September 18th through the 20th. And all of the details are found at faithbasedsuccesssummit.com. And it's hosted by yours truly, Dr. Paulette Harper. And we are going to learn so much more.
Hello, everyone. I'm very grateful that you took the time to tune in to
is glitching, and it's not anything that Mackenzie's doing backstage. Every once in a blue moon, so the StreamYard will just do its own thing. I can see it highlighted. It just keeps playing it like on a loop. But guess what? We are not editing this because guess what? In real life, on CNN and all of these other places, things happen from time to time. And guess what they do? They keep it moving. And you keep right on going. And so you do have to be skilled to know how to maneuver through that. And I think that God has blessed me with that gift. So we're going to have a beautiful time. So anyway, when you, Dr. Paulette, thought about creating this concept of having faith and business be merged together, what was in your thought process? Talk to us about that, if you will.
Yeah. First of all, Kim, thank you so much for having us on. We so appreciate this space that you've given us to talk about our summit that's coming up September 18th through the 20th. And so to answer your question, I wanted to provide another platform for authors and speakers and coaches to really share their message on how they put and intertwine their faith in their business and how they really serve their community. And so a summit does give people that opportunity to really expand because it's global, it's virtual. And so you can really reach more of an audience that you're trying to really convey your message to.
Yes, yes. And so with this being the case, is it open for anyone, whether they are faith-based or not, or is it mainly only for faith-based individuals?
So because it is virtual, anybody can register for the summit, because the messaging and the tips and the strategies that these speakers are bringing works for any and every business. What we've done is we've navigated life and business God's way. And so we've just found a way that works for us, and that is infusing our faith in the Lord Jesus Christ into our business. But the principles and the strategies can work in any business.
Yes, come through. I actually read a book recently. Come through Jesus is what it was. I was like, now that was an epic title in my opinion. I had a guest that came on the show, and the hashtag was "Come Through Jesus." I said, now, can you get any better than that? In my opinion, no. I was so excited and honored to have that young lady as a guest. People can get their tickets, and I want to say that throughout today's broadcast, but people can get their virtual seats confirmed where?
So people can go to my website, which is faithbusinesssuccesssummit.com, and they can register for the no cost event. And they'll get on my mailing list. So they'll get a lot of email correspondence. And then also we invite all the attendees to come into our Facebook group, where all of the speakers are housed, and where we're going to be doing a lot of engaging inside of our community. And so we invite you not only to register, but to come on inside of the group, so that you will get to meet all of the speakers as well.
Awesome. And so today, everyone, we're talking with Dr. Paulette Harper, who's the visionary behind this conference that's taking place, and Lauren Richardson, as well as Earl Morrison. And so I want to give everyone a chance to hear from former police chief, recently retired, over 29 years of experience. And I know a lot of times officers get a bad rap, but I am so honored to have this Christian law enforcement retiree here with us today on the Kim Jacobs Show. And I want to take a moment to hear from you and what made you become a part of this particular initiative, Earl.
Again, thank you for having us on here. We did one a few months ago, and I did one with Dr. Paulette then. And, I learned a lot from that one. And so for me, it's just another opportunity to get out here and let people know that, I think sometimes we're a little afraid to include God in the things that we're doing. Mm-hmm. And so even in day-to-day life, even before I ever decided to be a business owner and put things out here, I could tell you without a doubt, I was much more successful in day-to-day life when God was at the helm of that. But just trying to teach people that, they can make that transition. They can transform from what they're doing now to something else. And if you would just put God at the center of everything, it doesn't mean it's going to be easier. I can tell you that. It's always going to be hard, because the more you run toward God, the more there's some things that attack, and Satan loves to try to derail us every chance that he can get. But if we could just learn to, no matter what, run toward God, he will give us what we need to figure it out to get to the other side. And so being part of these kind of summits, for me, that's just another way for me to help get that message out in whatever avenue somebody is out there in. They may be struggling to try to figure that out. And our goal, I think, is just to try to change some mindsets and some attitudes and some things to turn toward what will help you no matter what.
I love that. And I'm so glad that you're taking that approach, because a lot of times people feel like it's an either or situation, but I believe that it's an and. We can do wonderful things on this earth, and we can have God, Christ, be at the helm of it and lead the charge. So I'm excited about everything that you just shared. And so we're going to be talking even more throughout the broadcast, but I want to give Lauren a chance, just as an introductory moment, as a children's book author, CEO of Made for More. She's Made for More mindset and writing coaching for women and mothers. I want to definitely welcome you too, Lauren. And what made you become a part of this?
Yes, thank you so much, Kim. So I was tagged on Facebook. I cannot remember who that person is, but with Dr. Paulette, she posted that, and someone said looking for virtual speakers and for a virtual summit. And I was like, why not? And so my biggest thing, being a speaker as well, is to get out and to be an advocate for women and mothers, as I am both, and to help with one's mindset and with faith. I'm very faith-based myself, and with the journey that the past 2 years, how my faith has got me to where I am today by just listening and being disciplined to what God was leading me to, surrendering all to Him. When I kept digging my feet in the ground and saying no, and then I finally said, I'm here. What is my purpose? What are you leading me to? And that led me to becoming a children's book author, to achieve that dream of that. And then this past December to launching the start of my Made for More coaching business. And I was a client of life coaching myself 2 years ago. And what that did for my life, I wanted to do that for more women, and especially mothers, because I honestly don't know where I would be today if I had not chose that 2 years ago for myself. And so being with that, with mindset, and what I talk about as my keynote in the summit is the power of one's mindset and what that can do for you. Yes. And I start out my keynote, I'm not going to say too much, but with
you gotta be there. You have to be there. She's not gonna give you her full opening.
Yeah,
right
you gotta be there. You gotta be there and listening to that keynote. But my favorite scripture quote is Philippians 4:13. And I can do oh my gosh, as I'm like going live here, I can do anything, the power of Christ that strengthens me. And I know there's different versions of different, all the different versions of that, but that has guided me through the past 2 years. It's guided me before, even during the pandemic, and the goals that I've set and the goals that I've achieved, because Christ is with us and He is strengthening us through the whole way. He is my business partner. I am my own CEO, but He is right with me in this whole entrepreneur life that I've created for myself. And it's just wonderful. So I was like, I'm going to apply to be a speaker. And then I was selected, and I even said, Dr. Paul, I was like, I was selected. And I was like, she's like, yeah, I think your topic will be great for this summit. And I was like, okay. Yes. So I was very excited and very blessed of this opportunity.
Wow. I think that the world is going to be blessed because you're a part of it. And so I'm excited that this is happening. I see Adrienne. I don't know if you want to send her the link. Okay. So, Adrienne, we definitely welcome you to be a part of the broadcast as well. And we'll send you a link to be able to come on as a guest and Dr. Paulette and I will make arrangements for that to happen, for you to come and be a guest soon. Okay. So looking forward to it. And so glad that you're here today in the studio audience. Listen, everybody, thank you all so much for being here. I see all of your comments, and throughout the broadcast, we'll be popping those comments up. I see you, Dennis. I see all of you all that are on, and all of you that sometimes you're on, but I know you're not making comments. I just want to acknowledge you. Renita, I see you. I see you. I see you, Doctor. I see all of you guys. We'll put your comments up if you pop any of them in. But listen, as we're talking about faith-based initiatives, I think, Dr. Paulette, just so you know, I've written a book. I actually wrote the book a couple of years ago. And I have to make a proclamation, a declaration, that before this year ends, 2024, I am going to, it's already typed. I mean, it's already done. I just have to type it in. It's a huge manuscript. And it's all about being able to live life the way that God has intended us to do, and how we're balancing our lives from that perspective. And so I know I'm not a part of this conference in this regard, but I'm so honored to be able to host you all today, because this is all about what I'm about. To me, to God be the glory. And so we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I would love to hear more from you all pertaining to what was that turning point in your life that you realized that faith had to be a part of the journey. And each of you, I'll get you to answer that question right when we come back. We'll be right back, everyone, as long as there's no glitching right after this commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Kim Jacobs, the Managing Director of the Charlotte, North Carolina chapter of eWomen Network. I am so excited that you stopped to watch this video. I've got good news for you. You've just discovered an international network of women entrepreneurs who are committed to helping you achieve, succeed, and prosper. We're on a mission here to help 1 million women entrepreneurs each achieve $1 million in annual revenue. Here at eWomen Network, we have a complete success system that supports you every step of the way in building and growing your business. You being here right now is no accident. We're supposed to know about you. We want to meet you to find out how we can help you as well as learn about what you have to offer. With over 500,000 women connected through 118 chapters across the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom, you are never alone. If this is resonating with you, please go to ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte. Notice too my contact information. I invite you to reach out to me and to check out our upcoming in-person and online events. I'm really looking forward to introducing you to our special community.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show, where we are talking with I consider myself a part of this conversation, the four of us, pertaining to how important it is to have faith and business collide. And we are going to hear, if you will, Dr. Paulette, if you could talk to us and tell us what was that turning point in your life that you realized this was necessary?
Yeah, great question, Kim. For me, the turning point came in my life is when when I wrote my very first book. I didn't know what that process was going to look like, becoming an author, but I knew that was the direction in which God wanted me to go in. And so creating, a program from that, creating opportunities from that to help other aspiring authors, the business just began to bloom. But I knew that I had to incorporate God in that, because he had, orchestrated my life. And I've been a believer, since my early 20s. So he's always been the center of who I am and what I do. And so I have to put him in that, because I need strategies that can only come from the Lord. I need wisdom that only can come from the Lord. I need his guidance that can only come from the Lord. And so I need his input in everything that I do. And as he is the foundation of my business, I know that no matter what test or trial that I have in my business, what disappointments that I have, that God is always there to be my parachute, to be the one who catches me. And so he has to be the center of my business. And so I know that I cannot be prosperous in my business without him. And so I invite him in what I do, because I know that he has given me this platform. And my goal is to make sure that he's glorified in all that I do and what I do, and that he really is the center of my business.
That's good. That's such great wisdom. And you all in the studio audience, I'm hoping that you're taking notes about just some of the nuggets that's being shared here. The fact that Dr. Paulette Harper is saying that he has to be the center of pretty much everything that she does. And as a result of that, she's been so much more successful. And that's changed the trajectory of her life. I know that's personally changed the trajectory of my life. And because I decided to yield my will to his will, everything opened up and became a whole better life for me. And so I really hope that if you're feeling down and out in your own journey, that you take heed to some of the advice that's being shared here today. So Earl, talk to us from your perspective. What was that turning point for you?
So, I grew up in church. It's been part of our life. My wife and I got married. We were very entrenched in the church. And while doing that, I was working for the police department, and I always had a goal and a dream to be a police chief. And so we prayed about that, and God blessed us and opened the door. And it's like any of those dreams that you have, and you realize God's opening doors. you're thinking, okay, this is going to be long term. Well, have a plan and think that God's going to follow that, and you'll get the surprises that He provides with that when He's not quite ready for that to be. And so sometimes our plan's not always His plan. And so about 2.5 years into being a police chief, the political landscape changed, and I found myself out of my dream job, where we were in a dream location, and lots of people out there go through this. And so we were like, what's next? Well, I don't have anywhere to turn other than to God, because he provided that. He's going to provide the next steps. And so my wife Penny and I, we were praying about what do we do next? How do we learn from this? Because that's what I wanted to take away from that. Because, in the good and the bad, God's always teaching us something. And so I wanted to know, what is He teaching me? What am I supposed to learn as I move forward? And so, everybody talks about writing a book. Tons of people do. A lot of people don't. And so we were like, okay, maybe we should write a book. And we were like, everybody has the excuses of why not to do stuff, because it's not easy, right?
That's right.
So we were like, well, we can't say we don't have time, because I don't have anywhere to go on a daily basis, right? So God's provided me a platform to write the book. So stop talking about it and talk to Him about it. And so I wrote my first book, Leadership Lessons Learned, because, again, I wanted to know what I was supposed to learn, but I also knew that there were probably other people out there that may go through the same thing, or may have gone through that. That some of that is a healing process. And everybody out there that writes, that when you go through things and you can write them down, and then even possibly writing a book about them, there's a healing process with that also helps other people when they can read your story. And so, we clung to my favorite verse, Joshua 1:9, have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? Because now at that point, more than ever, that's what we had to be, because I didn't know what was next. So we started our business, Leading and Learning with Character, because we weren't sure, that lots of people don't like to read, so you don't know who's going to get the book in front of them. But it was another avenue for me to provide classes and other things to move that forward. That's a great story right there. I know, but it happened to me again. The next place I went as a police chief, 7 months, I wasn't there anymore. And then my last spot, after about 3.5 years, I wasn't there again either. And so here's the crazy part. Every time in between, I've written a book.
Wow.
God, maybe just help me to write the book even when I'm busy. But I think sometimes He needs to get our attention. And you talked about digging in your heels sometimes. I can be hard-headed. I know, ladies, that's probably hard for you guys to figure out, that a man can be hard-headed. But I can't be. And even with God, we get stubborn, we get hard-headed. And so, He has ways to get our attention. And
yes, He does.
Right now, it's one of those, the last few months, I had one foot in one door and one foot in the other, because it's kind of hard to leave something that you've done for almost 30 years. In it, teaching, training, and developing people was my passion. And so now I'm having to say, okay, God, what do you want me to do with this business? Because I have time, and I can't do it without Him, because nothing I do, nothing I can talk about, none of the skills that I have, do I have them without God and Him refining me in all of these things. And He's still working on me.
Yes, He is.
But to be able to put that out there for other people, because we don't talk about the difficulties. We don't talk about the hard things in life enough, because when we're going through it, every single person out there thinks you're the only one going through it, and you're the only one that's ever been through it. And so we need to get better, especially men. We need to get better at talking about the difficulties and understanding that when I can share that with someone else, not only does it help me heal, but it'll probably help you if you listen and understand some of those processes.
That's good. And I like the fact that you say, having those difficult conversations, and maybe even throughout this broadcast, we'll get a chance to just share something that we do think is difficult that would be helpful for other people to know that they're not on an island by themselves. And so, Lauren, I would love to hear from you as well. What was that pivotal turning point for you when you decided faith is first?
Yes. So, I take you back to about 2.5 years ago, and I was actually a director of a very well-known direct sale company. And, I owned a car. I had a team of amazing women, and there was something missing. And that's all I had. I was a mom, I was a wife, I was a mother, and I had my business. And I still have that business. It's just a different caliber now. But I say this to people when I describe my journey, is that I was in a box. I was in this box of, this is my only thing. And I wasn't really thinking outside of the box. When I had dreams, of writing a children's book, well, that didn't happen until later. And there was just, like I mentioned, that I was, digging my feet in the ground and saying, no, I have to continue doing this because this is all that I am.
Right.
That was the mindset at the time. And I would read my daily devotional, and every day for a month, and it was the February of 2 years ago, and it was saying, you need to trust in the hardships. Then I'm like, okay, next day, trust in what God's direction is for you.
Right.
Next day. I mean, the same, and these words are written, but every time that next day in my devotional, I mean, the timing is God. And I was a little stubborn at first, and I was like, no, and I can't, this and that. And then I literally got on my knees, and I was just sobbing. And I was like, Lord, what am I made for?
Right.
And that's what it was. And so when I finally surrendered and released, emotions and everything, opportunities came my way. And I, in a short little message here, I was a vendor at a women in business, moms in business event with my business. And I shared my story and this and that. I got a message from the community leader of Moms in Business, which is an international networking group. And she's like, I loved your story. I would love for you to take over and be our community leader of a county in Metro Detroit here in Michigan. And I was like, I'm going to have to pray about this. And so I did. I prayed for a week, and all God was telling me was, you need to say yes. You need this opportunity. You need to say yes. And I did. I prayed about it for a week, and all I kept hearing was yeses. And when I said, I will do it, and we figured it out at that launch event is where I met my life coach. And she was not supposed to be at that event. She came and bought a ticket at the door. And she told me that God told her she had to come. And she was launching her faith-based life and business coaching program. She had no clients. I became her first client. I had no idea. She stood up, said her name, said what she did. I was like, that's it. I followed God's path. And then I found out that God led her to that launch event that I said yes to.
Yes.
And from there, I did 6 months of life coaching with her as her client. And then God was like, you're ready to soar. I then was met with a woman who, through my Moms in Business, asked, have you met Lauren Richardson? You need to meet her. We met for coffee. 2 days later, she asked me to be a keynote at her women's event. And I said, yes. At that event, I met my writing coach, who also was not supposed to come to that event. God, these women tell me, My coaches, they said, Lauren, I wasn't supposed to be there. God told me I need to show up to this. And so I then invested in myself with coaching again. And then I wrote self-published my first children's book. And from there, the steps that God has led me, and I am listening and I am following and I am disciplined, because the way my life has changed in 2 years because of me listening and following his next direction. I am so blessed and I'm so grateful. And that led me to last summer when now I'm best friends with my business coach. We started a women empowerment group, werise.co on Instagram, and in the Metro Detroit area here in Michigan. And I was like, I think I want to be a coach. She's like, you would be an amazing coach.
Yes.
So so I was like, okay. And then I sat on it for about 4 months. And then December of 23, I was at an event and this woman across from me was talking and she reminded me of myself. And I was like, God's like, you're going to talk to her. And she became my first one-on-one client. And where she is thriving now. I mean, you just follow God. You follow God. And then I was led to becoming a writing coach. And I have my 3 clients, all are self-published authors now. Their books are live on Amazon and they're thriving. And all because I listened, and all because I am taking God as my business partner.
Yes.
And just believing in all that I am made for. Hence the name of my coaching business, Made for More, because every woman, and I primarily work with women and mothers, but not opposed to sharing, obviously, advice with men. And you're made for more. You're made for what God has a purpose for you. And having that faith and that belief and just following his word, it's just so powerful.
It is so powerful. So, you know what? Even this conversation, y'all, we're not in the same room, but I feel that just the Holy Spirit just permeating through even the virtual communication. And I don't always feel that in every conversation that I'm having, because it's not necessarily there. We're just having a conversation. But the power of the Holy Ghost is in this place right here. And I just want to thank God that you all yielded your will again to God's will. And so I'm overwhelmed a little bit because it's a different kind of conversation that's happening here. And you know it when you know it. And it's not about just being in a church building and getting overwhelmed in the spirit, because I will go in. I actually felt like, I was like, Lord, Kim, you can't go in that much. I think I felt like I pulled a muscle the other day in church. I was praising the Lord so much. And what I feel free to do that. I feel free to be able to give honor and praise and glory to my Lord and Savior, just like people that go to football games and basketball games and yell for the president or whoever. I yell and I'm sold out for my Lord and Savior and what has been done on my behalf on this earth.
Yeah.
And I don't take it for granted. So as we're talking today, we're talking with these spiritual leaders that have decided to come together to do a conference. And these are just some of the speakers. There are others that are not here today. And I welcome them to come on the show as well anytime before the actual summit, Dr. Paulette, if you want to arrange that. It's a 3-day summit happening, and you're invited as Faith Business Success Summit, Navigating Life and Business God's Way, September 18th through the 20th. And it's hosted by Dr. Paulette Harper, and some of the speakers are here today, Lauren and Earl. What is a time that you experienced in your life that you felt like, because there are a lot of people that are watching, some of them go through. They're going through right now as we speak. And even us, that's the whole point. We go through. It's not like just because we get to the top of one mountain, that technically means, according to a quote I saw, you're at the bottom of another one and you're getting ready to climb again. So we're ever learning and ever developing and growing in Christ. Anybody want to share a story that resonates with the people on which you went through that was really challenging for you? Dr. Paulette, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll share as it relates to, my business, and being that this is our summit is really geared for, faith-based entrepreneurs. When I first started my business, and as it began to just kind of evolve, I had to realize that I could pivot in that I didn't have to be so stuck at doing something one particular way. And I had to really look at my business and see what worked and what didn't work, and how God was moving me, and being really sensitive to the direction and the moving of God in my business. And so as entrepreneurs, sometimes we don't want to take those chances and those risks in our business because we're comfortable sometimes right where we are. But everybody would know that if you are a believer and God leads you, there is never a comfortable place in God. He's always asking us for more. He's always stretching us in our business. He's always telling us to do risk, because why? We have to do this thing by faith. That's why we are navigating life and business God's way. And so as a business owner, I want people to understand that it's okay to pivot. We had to do it in COVID. All right. The great thing about my business is the fact that it's mostly virtual. So I can connect with people all over the world. And so all the pieces of my business connects with people who are on different levels and whatnot. And so, for me as, the entrepreneur, it was really about me realizing what didn't work and be okay with relinquishing that, and then expecting God to give me something else to do instead. And so with my own business, Harper Media and Coaching Academy, I started out by writing that one book. And I thought that was going to be it. But of course, God had other plans, and I just went with what God was giving me and how he was evolving. And one of the things that I think for entrepreneurs, sometimes we don't know. Oh, thank you, Kim.
This is so important. You're an author of how many books at this point?
So I have 19 books, and so 7 of them are my solo books, and the other 12 are my anthologies that I do. And so that's one thing in my business that, as I mentioned, I started out by writing one book, and then there was people that started asking me about, can you show me how to do what you just did? And that became, my workshops and really teaching people how to write their own books. And then somebody asked me, well, can you coach me one-on-one? So let me just share this with business owners. People will tell you what they need. People will tell you how you can be the solution for them. And I just became the solution for, faith-based entrepreneurs who want women, who want to write books, whether it is, a self-help book, it is, an inspirational book, a subject matter book. And so people will seek you out because they see you as the expert in that. And so you have to show up as well. And so just really realizing that you can pivot in that, and my business began to grow. And so it went from one thing to the next, to having my own TV show, and then also, the summits. And it did not come at a cheap price. It came because I had to go through a divorce. I had to go through a lot of pressure. Had to go through a lot of pain to get to where I am. But I'm so grateful to the Lord for the direction and saying yes to him, and seeing how he has just blessed the works of my hand, because that's what the Bible tells me, that he will bless the works of my hands. And so I just encourage those who are listening today to, just allow God to direct you in your business, and allow him to, tell you how to, use the strategies that he's already given you. And sometimes we don't even know the gifts and the calling that God has in us until we go through the fire. And so I can attest to that, so just really want to encourage the people who are listening today to just really allow God to orchestrate your business. And no matter the direction he gives you, that is totally always by faith in him.
Yes, yes. I mean, y'all, this is Pastor Paulette too, by the way, just so y'all know. Don't let her fool you over there. She is Dr. Paulette, an author and the visionary for a lot of different things, but she's also Pastor Paulette over there. All right, all right. And Earl, talk to us too, if you will, about a time that you really felt like you were struggling and you had to really lean on your faith.
Well, I mentioned that, actually there's been three. There was more before that. But, after losing that first job as a chief, and then it was 11 months before I got my next one. And I only stayed there 7 months. A lot of that's politics. Anybody that's worked in government, you understand that. Even if you don't work in government, you understand politics. And it doesn't always work the way we think that it should. And then, 11 months later, God sent me to Oklahoma. I'm from Texas. We were like, why? What are we going there for? I went to work for another organization. It was a state organization. And again, a little over 3 years later, I found myself in the same situation. And so, in a matter of 6 years, I've lost a job 3 times where we've moved to a different location every time. And so, there's a lot of people that want to say, hey, well, how do you deal with that? God's not taking care of you. He's not blessing you. He's not doing any of those things. And, there's a time even when you're experiencing that we struggle with that mindset because it comes in there, the voices are coming at us, friends, family, everybody, because they don't understand. Right.
Right.
And so, when I'm in these things, the crazy thing is, my family's in the middle of it, but I find myself being the encourager for the other people to not look at it the wrong way. That's not of my own strength. That
Right.
God gives me that. And so what I've learned is that I don't have my business, Leading and Learning with Character, that we've now celebrated for 7 years. I don't have that business if I haven't gone through the fire. Because see, we've all experienced where somebody's talking to us, whether it's a pastor, a teacher, somebody in front of us, a coach, anybody that are telling us things, and you're just like, I don't know that you really get it, because I'm not sure you've been through any of the stuff you're trying to tell me to hang on through. And people say a lot of stuff because they've heard it from somewhere else.
Right.
So in this last position that I was in, that was number 2 position in a state organization, and the number 1 position came vacant. And we're like, you brought me to Oklahoma. It must be for this. You've set me up for this. We prayed about it. We applied, and he said, and I was like, and so people around him, it was a little disappointing for us, but also people that I work for and work with, right? And so in that moment, which connected to the rest of them, I was reminded that if we're going to trust God in the good stuff, we got to trust God in the bad stuff, because you can't trust God part-time. He's not a part-time God. He's a full-time, all in, and we've got to look to him and say, that's where I get my strength. And I promise you, I wouldn't be able to talk to anybody. I wouldn't be able to teach anybody, mentor anybody, coach anybody, lead anybody if God wasn't in control. Of my own strength, nobody wants that. But with him, I can do those things that he's given me the ability to do. And in everything we do, just like you ladies and everybody else that's out there, all I want to do is honor him and glorify him as he gives me those talents. I don't want to use them for me. And don't misunderstand me. All of us that are business owners, there's nothing wrong with making money.
That's right.
The Bible doesn't say you can't, but I want to honor and glorify God in the process. Okay. He gives us that ability. So I want to use that correctly. So the message is that, folks, if you're going to trust God, trust him, because he's not part-time.
If you're going to trust God, trust him, because he's not part-time. I hope somebody will type that in the comments section over there. And matter of fact, I hope that you all are sharing this with your friends, your family, your coworkers, your enemies. Everybody need to hear what's happening here with the faith-based summit, success summit that's happening, okay? This is going to be epic. And as you can hear, you're getting some preached word. You're not just going to come and get no business tips only. Okay, Lauren, tell us of an incident that you'd like to share, please.
Yeah, so I definitely can go back to when I was 19. I lost my mother to breast cancer. And so losing her, that was a tough time. I was going into my sophomore year of college, and I could have went one route of, you know, people I knew who lost parents and they went a different route in their life, and it wasn't the good one, right? And
Right.
so I was like, no, I'm finishing school. I'm getting my degree, which was in elementary education. So I was a former kindergarten teacher for 5 years. And I believe that at the time that was a very hardship for me in my young adult life. But I think now where I am in my life today, that strengthened me. And I completed college. My mom never completed college. She wanted to be a preschool teacher. She never did that. I became a teacher. I fulfilled that dream like for her, in honor of her. Later in life, now that I'm a children's book author, my mom wanted to write a children's book and she never did that. And so I completed that for myself, but also in honor of her. And this past December 9th of 2023, I had my book launch, like celebration on her birthday, her heavenly birthday. And it was the perfect day. But all these things that I've done in my life, there was the victim route and there's a victor route, right? And in my life, the things that I've gone through with loss and hardship and all the things, I just keep trying to just go up that mountain. And I got God at my side. And, even when I was the idea of becoming a coach, like investing in other women and mothers and people, and who's going to be my client, the doubts come in, right? Who's going to want to be, trusting in me? No, God is with you. God is with me. He gives me the words. My first client I worked with for 6 months. Every day we talk. And it's like God was with me. He gave me how my structure of my coaching program for mindset was going to be created. I focused around self-love because as women and mothers, we put everyone first.
That's
and,
right.
We have God, we have ourselves, we have our marriage, if you are married, and you have your family and your children. Mm-hmm. And because we got to think number one for us. And next to God being with us, right? And I just had the faith. I had the faith that God was going to bring the clients who needed the help, the women and mothers who needed that mindset coaching.
Yeah.
And he did. And I have my current one-on-one client right now who I met at a celebration bash of the gym I go to. And she came to my table and we started talking, and it was just organically happening because God knew that woman needed that.
Yes.
And she had to make that, obviously, that choice, that investment and things like that. But my biggest why is to have women break free of limiting beliefs of what is stopping them from becoming their best self, up-leveling their mindset, and finding their true purpose in life. And my last former client, she had a business. She let go of that business because it wasn't serving her. And now she's becoming a certified generational trauma coach for women and mothers to stop the generational repetitive behavior that can go back 7 generations. And she has also launched a podcast called Resilient Moms with one of her best friends. And she's helping now others across. And would have this happen if I didn't listen to God to go through what I am as a mindset coach. That's just what it is. As you're going through my Instagram there, a mix of things there. With
this is great because it shows all about mindset.
Yeah, myself, networking events with women, my family, different things that I've done. My book. I mean, I am the brand, and I have a lot of different hats. I'm a mindset coach. I'm a writing coach. I'm a children's book author. So just showing that and that representation and women empowerment. I mean, that is the biggest thing to have, and having God with you along for the journey. And
I love it.
That's what it is.
I think I love a lot when I was looking over there at your Instagram, and that's why I put it up, is it shows you in so many different varying hats. You're there with the women and you're having a great time. You're with your family. You're sharing motivational quotes. So you're just wearing all different types of hats, but you're connecting with so many people in those different veins that God has put you in. So I'm really excited about everything that you share. And I do want to share your page too, because I didn't do that. Earl, like, what am I, dog meat over here? I didn't get my page share. And that's the thing I really like. Let me see here. Yeah, I really like this too, because I went on your page, Earl, and saw all of these different books that God kept putting in your heart. That before I even show this, let me make this point, because it's one of the points I'm making in my book that I've written already, is that God knew the season that we would be in our lives. So sometimes I'm the balance doctor. So a lot of people know about me being the balance doctor, but there are different seasons and pieces of my journey that look like she ain't in nobody's balance over there dealing with that. It's out of balance, out of sync, out of God's will. That I totally disagree with. I believe that God has us in certain seasons in our lives, and He already knows, because He foreknew, He predestined, He already knew what we was going to be experiencing. But how are we going to balance ourselves accordingly during that season of our lives? That's so important. And so when you see me and it looks like that don't look like nothing God would do, just pray my strength in the Lord, because it's a season that I'm going through that He already knew about and knew how it would impact other people's lives, for them to watch me in that season, that dry season, and how I behaved in it. So anyway, all right, that's just my own. I'm not even a speaker or anything at this conference, but I'm here hosting the show. So, all right. Let's go over here too, because I do want to take a moment to show all of these books: Mentoring for Life, Leadership Lessons Learned. This is merchandise that's on earlmorrison.com's page. Jumpstart your leadership and spiritual growth. And you can also chat with someone there. You can do a combo of leadership lessons learned and mentoring for life. There is no excuse for you to be able to formally get better. There's no excuse. And Maya Angelou said it often. She said, do the best you can. Just go ahead. Do your very best. Everybody do your best. Do you. But at the end of the day, when you know better, then do better. And that's what's happening here today. These guests are helping us learn how to do better. And they're offering a conference. Tell us, Dr. Harper, how people can participate in this conference.
Yes, you can go to my website, which is faithbusinesssuccesssummit.com, and register for the No Cost Summit that's taking place September 18th, 19th, and 20th. You will get communication from the team as it relates to the calendar and the time and which days each of the speakers are going to be presenting. I believe I have over 20 plus speakers that are going to be diving into entrepreneurship as it relates to faith-based entrepreneurs, a gamut of messages from faith to starting your business. I'm teaching my segment on how to write, publish, and launch your book in 90 days. And so these are the types of messages that, the summit speakers are going to be presenting: leadership, mindset, transformation. And so when you talk about faith-based entrepreneurship, it's just not one-dimensional. And so even though Christ is the foundation of our business, there's so many different elements and wings to, our business that we need to learn. Mindset is a major issue when people are talking about starting a business. It's your mindset. That's one of the first areas that I talk about, and I coach with my authors. It's about your mindset and how you've been in this place for all this time, because your mind has to be changed, And then, so there's many levels to this summit. So I invite those of you who want to learn, grow, and succeed as a faith-based entrepreneur. Please register for this no-cost event. Your life is going to be changed. You're going to take away some tools, some resources, some added bonuses that you're going to receive. It is about really elevating you as a faith-based business owner and getting the tools necessary so that you can definitely evolve and grow in your business. So faithbusinesssuccesssummit.com. You can register for the free event. And then also those of you who want to possibly be a speaker at my next summit, please apply to speak on the same website. Get on my wait list and be the first to find out when there is an open call for speakers at my next faith-based success summit.
So if you know that you're like, look here, I'm going to this, I'm clearing my schedule, I'm making it happen, then make sure you go ahead and say, I'm there. Say something in the comment section. I see somebody immediately say, absolutely, I'm there. Recovery Comes Home Radio said that there will be she'll be in the house. So make sure you type in the comment section and let them know so that they can even just connect with you on a more personal level, and excited about this being the case. And let me also let you all know, if you have the interest in starting your own talk show, podcast, virtual show from scratch, then know that we do offer a 6-week training program. And Dr. Paulette has referred people over to our training program. Les Brown endorses the program, and it's over on KimJacobsConsulting.com if you want to see that endorsement video. But our next class is coming up, and we only take 5 students. That way I can customize everything and work one-on-one with you in that group setting right from the comfort of your home. So you'll learn what you need to do to be able to have your own podcast or show from scratch. So reach out to me, 704-944-3534, if you'd like to grab one of those 5 seats that we have for our upcoming training. And one thing from a spiritual perspective that I'll share with you all that's also happening beginning September 5th and every Thursday thereafter at 7:00 p.m. right on Facebook and YouTube, we're going to have Promise Hour Bible Study. And that's me being obedient to God, putting some things in my heart that I have ran from. I didn't run. I did it in my own way. Let me say it that way. Since 2001, I already knew this was supposed to happen. But I said, oh, you know what, Lord? Since I'm married, Dr. Paulette Harper, since I'm married, I'll just do this. I'll undergird and support him, and I'll still be leading God's people in that capacity. But fast forward, we got divorced. So it's like, oh, now what? And fast forward, I am definitely going to be leading God's people in the capacity of leading his sheep. And so I'll leave it at that for right now, but definitely taking heed to the calling that he has on my life. And no matter what hats we wear, Lauren, like you said, all of the different hats, the main hat still has to be the main hat in the midst of all of it. So give me a comment, if you will, just some type of closing comment, closing thought, something maybe you didn't get to share on the show that you'd love to share. Earl, let's start with you.
Sure. I just invite people to come to this summit and check us out. You know, my talk is change your mindset, change your attitude. We talk about learning from your mistakes, self-reflection, you know, dealing with difficult people. Nobody ever has to deal with difficult people, right? Your attitude is your responsibility. And one of the big ones is never give up. And you've heard it repeated. You're going to hear it throughout this summit if you attend. Mindset is everything. Everything comes from your mindset. And if we put junk in, junk's going to come out. But if we change that and we put God's word in, we surround ourselves with the right people, we're putting good stuff in, good stuff is what's going to come out. So I just invite people, spread the word, share it with everybody, invite people to attend, because I promise you, not just what I bring to the table, what everybody else is bringing to the table. If you come there, there is no way you can leave there and not be blessed if you're listening and paying attention. Okay. And step out of your comfort zone, do something different. That's what all of us are doing. So we're just as scared and unsure of things as you are. But you know what? We are listening to God's word. So step out of your comfort zone and step into your God zone.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I know that this is not the topic today, but because you've had that experience in law enforcement, is there just one tip for unity from your perspective? Because everybody has a different set of glasses. What's just one little takeaway for unity?
For unity, folks, everybody has a different perspective. That's what makes us who we are. Okay, we can agree to disagree. We work together for the desired outcome. When we just decide what that desired outcome is, then we work better together to get there. Hey, you know what? We're going to look different. We come from different places. We're going to talk different. We act different. But if we focus on what God's calling us to do, you focus on in your organization, your team, your relationship of that desired outcome, value each other, invest in each other, and you will achieve that desired outcome. But guess what? It's not a 50-50. It's not a 10-80. It's a 100% from everybody involved, because no matter whether it's one of you, two of you, or 100 of you, everybody has value in what you're trying to accomplish.
Beautiful. I'm glad I had you say that. See, that's why you've been there for 29 years. Lauren, closing comment, and then Dr. Paulette will close us up.
Yeah, so same thing like with Earl, like just we want to see you there. We want to, I mean, I know it's virtual, but like come, and I'm going to be speaking on, my topic is breaking free of limiting beliefs through the power of one's mindset, and different things that growth mindset versus fixed mindset, taking 1% action step, and how, as you said, Kim, and like as business leaders, like we have to have a positive mindset or our businesses are going to falter, right? And so I'm just super excited to have those who are going to be in attendance virtually, and those 3 days of filling your cup. Oh my Lord, praise God, God be the glory. He is going to give us so much that is going to be so, like meaningful for our lives, as in personal growth, in our business growth. It's just going to be amazing. And show up, put yourself in the room, a virtual room. It doesn't matter. When you show up, things happen, even for a virtual summit conference, because you are going to get so much shared to you, poured into you, and come with that open mind. Come with the mindset that I need this. God has told me to sign up for this free event, and it's there for you. I mean, 20 plus speakers and these topics, I mean, it's going to be incredible. And so I am just excited. We as a group are excited for this faith-based, business summit. It's going to be amazing. So we cannot wait for you to be there, and how it's going to change your life and your business and all the things.
You will not be the same when you attend this summit. So make sure you're in attendance. Dr. Paulette Harper is going to have our final closing comment. And before she does, I want to let you all know that everything pertaining to Gabe's Heart Foundation's 5K walk, which is happening during October 19th, it's going to be held in Charlotte, North Carolina, but you can do it virtually no matter where you are. Everything is up and now official. We raise funds to be able to get defibrillators put in public spaces. And so I do want you to, because I just believe that gives the paramedics their time to formally be able to do their life-saving measures. Now, we know when it's your time to leave the earth, you're going to leave the earth. We understand that. But if there's a way for us to do better by having the proper equipment, then we want to have that available. And so Gabe's Heart Foundation, we raise funds for defibrillators to be placed in public spaces where young people congregate. And we're doing it October 19th this year. So any amount that you donate is greatly appreciated, and it will help towards the mission and vision. Gabe is my son that transitioned from this earth at the age of 12 years old due to sudden cardiac arrest. And so I don't want that to happen to anyone else at all. Please be a part of that initiative. All right. So our closing comment from Dr. Paulette Harper, the visionary behind this incredible conference. Take it away.
Well, Kim, once again, I want to thank you for having this space for us to come on. You've always been a blessing in my life and in my business. You've always offered this platform to bring the authors on, and then now the speakers here. And so thank you for this space that you have so graciously given to us. And so as a closing remark, just know that your voice is needed, your stories matter, and that God has room for you. I'm going to say it again. God has room for you. And so he has provided opportunities such as this so that you can show up in your authentic self and unapologetically talk about Jesus. Free. Kim, that's what you were experiencing. That's what you were feeling, the freedom to be able to just talk about Jesus. And we can tell and share who he has been in us and in our business. And so I encourage you to go to faithbusinesssuccesssummit.com, register for the no-cost event, and we will see you not just online at the summit, but inside of our Facebook group as well. Thank you, Kim, so much.
Thank you. Y'all do not miss this opportunity. Go ahead and go to Faith Business Success Summit right now. Time you hop off this show and go ahead and get your ticket, which is just a virtual free gifted event. This is like the best blessing ever. There are not too many events that you can attend for free. Okay, period. This, right from the comfort of your home, you can attend, be a part of it. For 3 days, your life will not be the same after you experience this 3-day Faith Business Success Summit, a virtual free event that you can't afford, literally, to miss. Okay, it's a play on words here, y'all. You can't afford to miss it. And you can do it right from the comfort of your own home. So you don't even have to go anywhere. You can be in your jammies and still take your notes, pull your notebook out, glasses, whatever you need, and deep dive and learn how to apply these skills to your everyday life. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Did we miss any? I know we probably missed some comments, but we are so honored that I see you said thank you all so much, and lots of comments over here. We absolutely love you all, and thank you for tuning in to today's episode. We'll be back Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Kim Jacobs Show. Love you all. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
This was awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward